Good day, fellow citizens of the Empire. You are watching the Crow Herald, sole news outlet as approved by the Heavenly Emperor, deliverer of truth to the far earthly corners, and proudly housed in the colony of Grand Perotia. As you likely noticed, the quality of this particular publishing is different to those before. In light of Mulbertus's unfortunate passing during our previous shooting of Wallachia, it burns! We thusly have taken a budget cut from Imperial and Grand Perosian sponsors, and so needed to scale back in production quality until our finances stabilize. Humbly, we at the Crow Herald appeal to any private investors who may wish to sponsor us through purchasing a sponsorship message for us to air during our next broadcast, either for business related or any other cause. Please contact us at the Anizote print shop in Salzburg if you're interested. Now, on to recent events. In this issue of news, we sadly have less important events to report on, given inaction on part of many key players both within the Empire and without, though we shall do our best to spread word of that little which has occurred. For starters, various construction projects have taken greater shape during these last weeks. The quaint yet bustling property set between the crossroads of Grand Perotia, Regalia, and Phoebus now consists of a several-story complex fit with market stalls, no doubt intended to draw on the countless trade caravans and immigrant traffic that passes through here. We foresee great commercial boons to be had from this center of travel and business, and thus eagerly await its grand opening. Some projects, which we do not have much information on, include renovations being done on the Capitol Clock Tower, which had sat dormant for nearly 3 years, this unidentified brick building adjacent to the Capitol, and a monstrous structure towering above Aurelia. Moving on to more grandiose projects, the unifying railroad sprawled across several of the Empire's core provinces, including the Capitol, Regalia, Phoebus, and Auckland, has finished its previously planned reach. Now with Auckland's route completed, the railroad is declared a success, connecting the 4 primary corners of the Empire together for seamless travel and goods transportation. Spearheaded by Grand Commander of the Imperial Armed Forces and Marquis of Auckland, Nathan no doubt stands with his head held high at such commitment to seeing his work through to the end. At present moment, nobles and select individuals in the Empire may ride on the rail for free and in first-class accommodations, with plans to eventually allow commoners and foreigners the privilege to ride in third-class boxcars for 20 diamonds per journey. Speaking further on infrastructure, the Imperial-ordained Cocoa Road between the Imperial colony settlements of Santa Cristiana Island and the Olympia Outpost was declared and completed in record time. Spanning a scenic trip through forests, mountains, and rivers, the road now offers a travel time cut in half than previous established routes. Of course, with better interconnectedness of the colonies, stability and growth is fostered that frees Imperial resources to be contributed elsewhere. We only hope the colonies remember their place under His Imperial Majesty in wake of this growing solitary neglect. In an effort to further push Imperial authority, the Emperor saw through the installment of a throne room within the Imperial Palace, where upon its unveiling, the first administrative gathering of the Empire was held. The positions of the individuals present, including the Dukes of Regalia and Phoebus, Marquis of Auckland, Viceroy of Grand Perotia, and Imperial head scientists, were all reaffirmed. A wise move, we say, as these individuals earned their rightful titles by their ancestral lineages and loyalties to the Emperor, thus making any changes quite unnecessary. The Grand Marquis of Rentopia also joined to pay homage to the Emperor and his court. A gesture, we imagine, was done to keep himself and his nation in the good graces of the most powerful figures on Earth. It is always good to see just how timeless the hegemony of the Empire is, as developments within it outpace those within neighbors like Rentopia and Wallachia. Lastly, Regalia proclaimed its intention to sponsor a tavern within Windsor, the stable for which has so far been constructed. Now, dear listeners, we would be remiss to not at least pay some attention to the recent spiritual developments that have taken place across the Empire and its client states. Upon the signing of the Crow-Rentopia Treaty, the patron deity known as Zack was recognized by the Emperor of Crow to exist alongside him in the heavens, though hierarchically under him. Even with this more than generous appeasement offered by our kind Emperor, extremist followers, predominantly from Rentopia, took to declaring Zack not merely an inferior deity to the Emperor, but rather the true God Emperor of heaven and earth. This blasphemy, now called Zackism, has insultingly thus far been tolerated by the Grand Marquis of Rentopia, wherein this new faith has been permitted to fester like a plague. Why the Grand Marquis, in his wisdom and loyalty to the Emperor, hasn't yet seen to the eradication of this extremist community remains unclear. Reports have come in from our spot delegates in Rentopia, the holy city of Zackism, that a new list of commandments were evangelized by the faith's spiritual leaders. The commandments are as follows. You shall drink and have fun. You must treat everyone equal. And you shall drink more. Even without any previous theistic precedent to base such commandments off of, this has not stopped several missionary groups from being sent forth into the Empire to spread this unholy doctrine. In response, the Emperor proclaimed the first and third commandments to be in alignment with heaven's teachings. However, that the second commandment is a deliberate misrepresentation, intended to spread sedition and rebellion across the Empire and natural order. After personally funding a council of theistic scholars, the Emperor has concluded and announced the true interpretation of the second commandment to be as follows. You must treat everyone who are elders or nobles equally according to their status. A noble of one status must be treated the same as a noble of equal status. This aligns far better with previous heavenly teachings and imperial laws, as if all are to be treated equal, then how can the proud nobility stand above the filthy commoners, as has always been the way? If the Emperor is equal to his most bottom-feeding subject, how can he be the voice and representative of heaven itself? Surely, dear listeners, you follow the logic behind the Emperor's studies, and remain as confused as us that equality for all could ever truly function. Quite regretfully, local bureaucrats have made clear the regions of Auckland and the Crow Herald's very own Grand Parotia have seen sharp rises in Zackist followings, likely due to their southernmost positions and thus proximity to the holy city of Rentopia. As of yet, both the Marquis and Viceroy have made no comment nor taken any action to rectify this, for reasons we can only assume amount to careful consideration of such a delicate situation. The Crow Herald's on-site journalists recently conducted an interview with a Salzburg local who converted to Zackism, hoping to clarify his religious beliefs and reasons for converting. So, we are aware that you have converted from the local state-supported Crow interpretation of the heavens to that of Rentopia's Zackism. Why have you decided to do so?
Huh?
Do you find that the new commandments recently announced by Zackist scholars have a role in your conversion? Could you get off your phone while we're trying to do this, sir?
Damn, he's using Mega Knight.
Okay, and there you have it, citizens. In any case, we will be sure to keep you listeners updated in the next entry of the Crow Herald, and hope you remain faithful to the one true Emperor in the meanwhile. Farewell, and long live the Empire of Crow with its most heavenly Emperor.